You ever have one of those days where you come home thinking the worst that's gonna happen is maybe you gotta nuke your coffee for the third time and listen to some kid at the hardware store talk down to you, like you've never held a wrench in your life, and then bam, out of nowhere, your whole world just goes sideways. That was me rolling up my driveway on this dusty old Montana afternoon, a fresh load of fencing gear in the back of my truck brain, already picturing how I might actually get a peaceful evening for once. But then I hit the hill, and there it was, plain as day. My shoreline, my place. I've called home for 12 years, and every ounce of calm in me just bled out, left me standing there with my jaw half on the floor. My bridge, the one I'd built with my own hands back in 2016, the one that connected my cabin to the alfalfa field, wasn't just gone, it was wrecked. Absolutely trashed. Not by nature, not by time, but by someone who woke up and chose violence against lumber. What I saw was a pile of splintered beams, busted bolts and planks bobbing like sad little rafts. And my first thought was maybe a freak storm. Maybe a tree came down, except no, right there in neon orange tape and 2 stakes hammered in like a toddler's craft project. There's a laminated sign that basically screamed, Silver Hollow, HOA, Unauthorized Structure Removed Visual Impact Compliance. Below it in print so small you needed a microscope, it said something about community aesthetic standards and restoration efforts. Now let me back up a sec because this is where things get weird. My land not part of Silver Hollow. Never has been. My property lines go back further than half their members have even lived here. All we share is the lake, and even that, let's be honest, is just a quirk of geography. So I'm standing there, hands balled into fists, wind snapping at my jacket, staring at the ruins of this bridge. My bridge that not only let me walk to my own fields, but also gave the neighbor tractor access. Now cut off unless they felt like a 1-hour detour around the lake. I built that bridge legal, got it inspected, got the permits. My paperwork is thicker than Karen's binder of HOA rules. And look, if you've ever tangled with an HOA, you know exactly the kind of person I'm dealing with. So first thing I call the sheriff's office, hoping for a little justice. Sounds like a civil matter, sir. Maybe talk to the HOA. Yeah, thanks for nothing. So now I'm on my own. I head home, drag out every permit, every survey map. Heck, I even find the thank you letter from the county inspector who'd signed off on the bridge in the first place, called it the cleanest job outside a federal contract. I start firing off emails county-state, the HOA board, digging up addresses, hacking my way through their clunky website just to get a foot in the door. That night, I walk back out by the water, staring at those ruins, thinking somewhere out there is a clipboard-wielding, agenda-loving control freak who just picked the worst possible person to mess with. And of course, her name's Karen. Didn't even need to meet her. Montana's got a way of making Karens visible from a mile off. At sunrise, I'm down at the county office where a clerk named Brandon, looked like a ferret with a mustache, pulls up my file and says, "Sir, you're fully legal." There's no record of any complaint or demo order, which means someone didn't just jump the gun, they never had a gun to start with. I head home and start combing through my security footage. Most cameras cut, but I'd hidden one under the boathouse eave just in case. And there they are. 2:34 a.m. White van, 5 hooded figures moving fast. No contractor in their right mind moves that quick at night. And one of them, pretty sure I recognized Karen's son from the last HOA barbecue. Yeah, they brought him along for muscle. I burn that footage to 3 different drives, print out stills, call the sheriff again. This time, Deputy Linda comes out, sits at my kitchen table, watches the tape flips through my stack of paperwork, and just laughs. You're more prepared than half the lawyers I know. Not exactly a victory, but I'll take it. That afternoon, I shoot off a notarized affidavit to the prosecutor, the HOA, and anybody who'll listen. The very next day, there's a letter in my mailbox. No return address. Just Karen Lance in bold black marker full of HOA word salad about visual disruption and community harmony, No legal citations, no apology, just the kind of stuff that belongs in a spam folder. I laughed out loud. She thought she could scare me off. Maybe that works on new folks, but I'm retired Army Corps of Engineers. This is what I live for. 2 days go by, and suddenly I get a sweet-as-honey email from Greg Mortimer, the HOA's VP, inviting me to a collaborative resolution meeting. Instead, I show up with Denise, my attorney. She's been my bulldog since 2019 and does not play. The Silver Hollow Clubhouse. Looks like a pottery barn exploded 7 board members, all khakis and fake smiles. Karen, sitting dead center face, stretched so tight it looked painful. Before anyone can fake niceties, I lay it out. You sent a crew to destroy my bridge. That's trespass and property damage. Denise slides my paperwork across the table. The board's lawyer mumbles something about shared water and easements, but I'm not having it. Not when you step onto my land and swing a sledgehammer. Karen finally drops. The act snaps. Your bridge was an eyesore. You treat this place like your personal bunker, I remind her. Funny, you never complained when I fixed your drainage problem last spring. Her face cracks just for a second, but I see it. We walk out, Denise promising subpoenas, and I'm thinking, that's what HOA money gets you, lawyers and beige carpets. That night, a local reporter calls looking for a story, but I tell him to wait. I want this storm to land right on Karen's doorstep. The next morning, I drive out to the spill gate, the one I'd reinforced years ago to control the lake's water level. I inspect every valve, take photos, and leave a big official-looking sign, maintenance suspended pending legal review. CC the county, the state, and, for good measure, the HOA board. Within a day, Karen's blowing up my phone, demanding I fulfill my public duty, accusing me of endangering the community. My answer, maintenance, was a courtesy. Read your own charter. Then things get weird. Some guy in a suit parks by my access road, sits for hours typing on a laptop. PI, most likely. Denise just laughs. Let them dig. You're the cleanest guy in Montana. I put up more cameras, switch out the locks, file harassment complaints, and now I'm fielding calls from realtors and contractors asking if I'll sell or maybe let them help restore the shoreline. Yeah, that actually happened. And then the rains come. The lake rises fast, and without me actively managing the outflow, the system just does its job. Water overflows, rushes through the bypass, and drains straight into the Silver Hollow Lagoon. By week's end, their fancy docks are high and dry, kayaks, stranded decks looking more like sun-baked islands. Panic mode hits the HOA calls emergency meetings, sends frantic emails, but there's nothing they can do. County says I'm within my rights. Local news runs a drone shot of the dried-up lagoon anchors asking, who's to blame? Karen. She goes nuclear. Files a lawsuit, claims sabotage, fakes some county documents, tries to argue my spillgate is illegal. But Denise catches the forgery, the county clerk calls it out in front of everyone. Now it's not just civil anymore. Denise adds forgery to the case. DA steps in and suddenly Karen's on the defensive. Then Mary, one of the quieter neighbors, reaches out, says she and a bunch of folks want Karen gone, but they're scared of her. I tell her, save every message, just in case. Karen gets more desperate, holds town meetings, forms new committees, threatens to take back the lake system. The county finally hits her with conspiracy charges. In court, Denise lays it all out: footage, forged docs, even a voicemail of Karen threatening to take it by force. The judge doesn't even blink rules in my favor. Convicts Karen dissolves the HOA and awards me the lake system plus a check big enough to rebuild the bridge 3 times over. That first walk across my new bridge, steel beams, timber wide enough for a tractor but built to blend in with the land, felt like stepping back into my own life. The HOA gone, their little suburban dreams up for sale. Some tried to put up new fancy features, but the county shut them down. Others, like Mary, sent thank you notes, moved to Missoula, even kicked in for a legal defense fund for folks fighting HOAs. And now every morning I cross that bridge, listen to the water, and think about what it all meant. You buy land, you work it, you respect it, and when somebody comes for it with a letter and a bolt cutter, you stand your ground, not out of spite, but out of principle. I put up a sign on the new bridge. Only those who respect boundaries may cross. People leave coins, take pictures, treat it like a little shrine. I don't mind. Let them remember it's not about fighting for dirt, it's about standing up for what's right. And when the sun sets over the lake, gold on the water, sometimes I wonder if the battle's really over or just waiting for the next round. But hey, whoever said Montana was boring, so now I gotta ask, did I do the right thing standing up to them, or did I go too far? Let me know what you think down in the comments, because you know sometimes justice is messy and the best stories don't end with everything clean, just with a stronger bridge.